I too now solemnly pledge myself, throughout the remaining time God grants me, to uphold the constitutional principles at the heart of our nation. And wherever you may live in the United Kingdom, or in the realms and territories across the world, and whatever may be your background or beliefs, I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love, as I have throughout my life.
Okay guys, something happened that we totally didn't see coming. King Charles, yes, the king, had a full-on breakdown on live TV, and what he said is absolutely wild. This isn't just any royal drama. We're talking about a moment where Charles, who's always kept it together in public, finally let his guard down and shared something personal that's been eating at him for years. And trust me, it shocked everyone. He actually said, "She ruined everything." Now that's a pretty bold statement coming from a guy who's been known to keep things tight-lipped. But who is he talking about, and why say it now of all times? Let's dive into the details and break it all down.
It was the Romans who gave Britons the idea of putting a king's head on coins. So I'm especially grateful to them.
Now for real, King Charles has been the king of keeping things private. But this emotional moment, yeah, it definitely wasn't planned. For years, Charles has been the poster child for royal restraint. From his public appearances to the way he handled his personal life, he's always been careful to maintain that perfect royal image. We've seen him weather some major storms, especially after the divorce from Diana and his relationship with Camilla. But he's always kept his cards close to his chest. In fact, it's almost like he had a knack for hiding what was really going on behind those palace walls. If you think about it, King Charles has had to juggle so much: royal duties, public expectations, and his own family drama. It's like he was walking a tightrope, constantly trying to balance being the king while keeping the peace at home. But we can't forget the unspoken pressure that comes with wearing that crown. His position meant keeping everything under wraps, no matter what. And it's not just the royals. People have always expected so much from Charles. He's the next in line after Queen Elizabeth, and with that comes insane amounts of pressure. The scrutiny, the constant media attention, the eyes of the world on him, it's all part of the deal. But here's the thing, when someone's been this quiet for years, you know there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Everyone has their breaking point, and it's clear that Charles reached his. So what made him finally crack? What's been going on behind closed doors that pushed him to speak up? Well, this emotional outburst didn't come out of nowhere. The truth is, there's a lot that could have triggered it. First off, Charles has experienced a lot of personal losses over the years. Losing his mother, Queen Elizabeth, was obviously a huge blow, not to mention the pressure of stepping into a bigger role as king. Add in the constant media heat, the family struggles, and the relentless scrutiny, and it's easy to see why the dam might have burst. There's also the legacy of Diana, which looms over everything. Diana's death and the scandal that followed shook the royal family to its core. Charles has always been caught in the middle of that, having to reconcile his past mistakes with the public's perception, and now with the media constantly throwing shade on his family, especially with his relationship with Camilla, it must feel like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. It's not just his past relationships, it's everything. The tension between family members, the way his role as king is still being scrutinized, there's no escaping it. So when he said she ruined everything, was he talking about one of those personal struggles? Could this be a buildup of everything from the past and present finally coming to a head?
The difficulty I have is that I can't delegate myself off in different directions. If there was more of me, I could send one of me to Australia, and another one to wherever else it is, to try and do all the things that I would love to be able to do.
Okay, so who's this she Charles is talking about? Is it Camilla, Diana, someone else? Let's break it down. When Charles said those words, the world immediately started speculating. Could it be Diana? After all, their relationship has been one of the most talked about in history. The publication was obsessed with the idea of Diana as the tragic victim and Charles as the man who couldn't make it work. But here's the thing, that's all in the past. So, could she be someone more recent? Perhaps Camilla, who has had a controversial and complicated relationship with Charles from the start. If we look at their history, Camilla was always in the background, even when Charles was married to Diana. The media's judgment of their relationship was harsh, to say the least, with a lot of people seeing Camilla as the other woman. But over time, Charles and Camilla's relationship evolved, and Camilla even became his wife. Despite that, she's never quite escaped the public's critical eye. So when Charles mentions someone ruining everything, could it be Camilla that he's referring to? Or is there another woman in his life who he feels played a role in the drama that's unfolded? The truth is, the media and the public have always had something to say about Charles's love life. It's been a whirlwind, filled with scandals, heartbreak, and public judgment, and whether it's Diana or Camilla, they've both been central figures in his journey. But the question remains, who is the she that caused Charles to break down in such an emotional way? To understand this breakdown, we gotta take a trip down memory lane, back to when Charles and Diana were the royal couple, until things started falling apart.
My family was the sovereign, and we, as a family, don't own this place. It doesn't belong, and it's not as if we're making money out of it. This is what annoys me so much that's written in the media.
When Charles and Diana first got together, it seemed like the perfect royal fairy tale. The world watched as the couple exchanged vows, with Diana becoming the people's princess and Charles stepping into a new chapter of his life. But behind the glossy headlines, things were far from perfect. Their marriage was rocky from the start. While Diana was fully invested, Charles was still emotionally connected to Camilla, which would later become one of the biggest strains on their relationship. Diana famously revealed the struggles of their marriage in her bombshell interviews, where she exposed just how deep the cracks really were. One of the most telling quotes from Diana was when she said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." This reference to Camilla spoke volumes about the tension between the 3 of them. Diana's words opened the floodgates, and suddenly the world saw the truth behind the headlines. For Charles, this must have been a heavy burden, knowing that the love he had for Camilla played a significant role in the downfall of his marriage to Diana. But Charles's past with Diana didn't just affect their marriage, it's still hanging over him. The public's obsession with their relationship, the endless media speculation, and Diana's tragic death only deepened the weight of it all. In many ways, Diana's legacy is something that continues to haunt Charles. Her impact on the royal family was so significant, and her tragic end only added fuel to the fire. Even now, whenever there's any issue within the royal family, Diana's shadow looms large. And then there's Camilla, the woman who was always lurking in the background. Could she be the she that Charles is talking about? Let's not forget, Camilla was an individual that was never fully accepted into royal circles. Despite her obvious connection to Charles, she was the other woman in the eyes of the public. Camilla's return to Charles's life after his divorce from Diana was a major shakeup. There was still a lot of tension, especially with the royal family's attempts to make it work. The public didn't take too kindly to her, and the media backlash was intense. Camilla was seen as a symbol of the royal family's past mistakes, and that stigma followed her for years. Charles's relationship with Camilla wasn't just a personal one. No matter how much the royal family tried to legitimize their relationship, it was always met with some level of resistance. The press had a field day with the idea of Camilla as the other woman, and many people still resented her for her role in the downfall of Charles and Diana's marriage. For Charles, dealing with that public scrutiny while trying to carry on with his duties must have been incredibly difficult. And now, with Camilla as queen, some of that tension still lingers. Is this the she Charles was referring to when he said she ruined everything?
Some people will see advantage in keeping the existing system. Others will see advantages in changing it. All I think is that this debate, if it's allowed to take place in the right way, and if it isn't just put across in a rather biased way by certain sections of the media, then some people may begin to discover actually a lot of hidden advantages and hidden aspects of the existing system which are taken for granted but are not realized at the moment.
Now, this emotional confession is a game changer for the royal family. The cracks in the palace walls are showing, and it's hard to hide behind the perfect image anymore. Charles's emotional breakdown isn't just a personal moment, it's a reflection of the shifting dynamics within the royal family. For years, the monarchy has prided itself on maintaining a unified, stoic image. The family has always worked hard to show the public a picture of harmony and order, but now things are starting to unravel, and that perfect image of royal unity unity is no longer so seamless. Charles, as king, has been expected to be a symbol of stability, but this emotional moment shows that even the most composed royal has their breaking point. This moment is a wake-up call for the monarchy. Royal commentators have pointed out that this breakdown could have serious consequences for Charles's reputation. The British public has always been forgiving, but the pressure of the royal spotlight might be more than Charles can bear. With the monarchy at a crossroads, this could affect the royal family's future. Experts speculate that the cracks in the royal facade are becoming more visible, and it may not be as easy to keep everything together as it once was. In the long run, how will Charles be remembered? Will he be seen as the man who had to navigate a personal and public storm, or as the king who couldn't keep it all together? His emotional outburst has definitely made things more complicated for the royal family. It's a turning point, and it's clear that the royal family will need to address the tension that has been simmering for so long. The monarchy's future could very well depend on how they handle these cracks in the foundation. But now it's your turn. What do you guys think about Charles's breakdown? Who do you think he's talking about, and how is this going to change the future of the royal family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more royalty and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates.